Welcome to the Motivation Without the Hype podcast with your host, Gez Perez. He's an author, high-performance coach, and motivational speaker. This show brings you inspiring messages and interviews to unleash your greatness in life and in business. So let's get started.
Hi everyone, welcome to Motivation Without the Hype podcast show. My name is Gez Perez, a former procrastinator into an action taker. We bring you inspirational messages and interviews, including motivational insights, tips, principles, and proven strategies that you can take action on without the hype in unleashing your greatness in life and in business. Now, we appreciate you plugging in and spending time with us. And we have a very special guest, and I'm super grateful to have her on the show. And she's all the way from the UK in London specifically. Her name is Anum. Now, she is a business coach for moms. She's also helps corporate moms turn their side hustle into a thriving business so they can fire their boss, awesome, and enjoy the time and money freedom by doing what they really, really love. So, Anum, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm really, really excited to be here. Thank you.
So, please tell us who you are and what you do.
So I'm a business coach for moms, and I help moms turn their side hustle, something they're working on, into a thriving business so that they can really find themselves, so that they can live the life they want. And for me, my biggest value is that moms can have it all. And this is my mission. I have dedicated my life to this mission because I strongly believe that being a mom, we are constantly juggling. We are a juggler. That's the second word for mom, I think. And we are constantly prioritizing this to that. And the last thing we want is stress in our career. But at the same time, we want to go after our dreams. We want to have it all. So the way to have it all is my mission. Like, I want to discover this way, which I think I'm pretty much craving the way. It's working out. It's amazing. And I want to spread this message to the corners of the globe that you can have it all. Don't give up on your dreams, because the day you do, your children will learn the same. They will learn that to give up on their dreams. And we are the role model for them. So in order to really feel fulfilled, we can do both. We can really have it all. So this is what I'm all about.
That is amazing. As a mother yourself, I know there's a lot of juggling act, as you say. There's a lot of things that go through a mother's mind, and, love and care, but always thinking 10 steps ahead of everything else. Can you please share us your journey and how it all became about, and how did you find your mission and now what you're doing to serve others and empower their lives?
Yeah. So I would go back from the start. So I belong to a developing country and a very, I would say, lower middle class family. We had a lot of financial issues, but on top of that, I had to go through a lot of emotional abuse. So I'm originally from Pakistan, and from when I was a child, I wasn't allowed to go to school because of the limitations of funds. But on top of that, we lived in a house with a lot of people. Like, there is a lot of joint family system, in Asian cultures. So there were a lot of people, and I went through a lot of emotional abuse. Every day there was a drama. Every day there was something. And as a child, I didn't know how to navigate around it. I didn't know how to deal with that, how to cope up with that situation. And I felt like it's just eating me inside. And one day it got to the point where I literally fell unconscious. And my mother was holding me. She was crying as well. And she thought that she lost me. Like, she just lost me mentally. She just lost her daughter, and I'm the only child as well, by the way. So it was really, really upsetting for her. And then I remember that inner voice at that time, when I was half conscious, told me that if you are in such a bad situation, why would you want to stay there? Why would you not have more reason to change your circumstances and rise up, right? So I'm sure it wasn't that wording, but now that is my memory of that situation, right?
Yeah.
To really rise up from where you are right now. And imagine, if you're in your comfort zone, things are going well, you're like, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. But when you hit rock bottom, the only way is up. You have to do it right now. There is no other way. So from that day, my mom told me that I just changed. Like, I just focused on that light at the end of the dark tunnel. And for me, like, I became one with that vision, one with that goal, to the point that whatever happened around me didn't affect me. In fact, it gave me more motivation to focus on that light, because the more bad things happen, it almost like my scars were turning into my superpowers. Like, the more bad things happen, I was like, you know what? I have more reason to follow that light no matter what. And there came a point when I felt like I had blinders next to me. Nothing really made me go away from my goal or distracted me. And that's when I had this desire. For me, it was like touching the stars, right? Really reaching for the stars. But the desire was to land a senior position in corporate London. So imagine, like, a girl from Pakistan who was at some point not even allowed to study, wants to now work in a FTSE 100 top corporate London in a senior position. That's literally like reaching for the stars. And I just played with that vision, I just kept seeing it. I just kept enjoying it. Like, I saw myself living in London. I didn't even know what London looked like, right? And driving a really nice car. Like, just these beautiful visions kept me on my path, right? They were my burning desire. And with time, it got intense and intense. And if you think about it, as a child, for me, it was like my escape route from all these emotional and financial struggles. And to take my mom and just escape this place and find a new life. So I didn't know it's going to happen, right? Because it was literally like reaching for the stars. But the way it started unfolding, so I got into a really good university in Pakistan, which was top 25 in Asia, on full scholarship, because clearly my family couldn't afford that. And then I got a job in Poland. So from Pakistan going to Poland, everybody was like, what? Where are you going? Poland?
Why Poland? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But that was the way
Yeah.
unfolding, right? And that same company, one day the director came to me and said, we really want a favor from you. And I was like, okay, what is it? He's like, there's a job opening in UK and we really want you to go there. And I'm thinking, is that a favor? Like, that is answering my calling. That's not a favor.
Right,
and no job interview, nothing. They moved me to UK. And it took them 4 months to sponsor my visa. That's how hard it is, from the like visa issues and all those things. And then I was working still in UK, but not in London. But, my vision was London. And see, like, sometimes our visions and our dreams are so big that we don't believe in them, right? But why not play with them? That is what I say to all my clients. Just play with it. Just play with it like a child, who says, when I grow up, I'll be a pilot. When I grow up, I'll do this. But now when I actually grow up, when somebody asks us, what do you want? We are like, oh, life is so tough. And in UK, we have this typical phrase. When somebody asks us, how are you doing? We say, not too bad. That means we are doing bad,
Yeah.
not too bad.
Bad.
So,
Well, bad, but probably a little bad.
yeah, exactly. Like, it's trying to say, it's literally a phrase. Like, if you're not saying that, you're not from UK. Like, I'll question
right.
if you're not saying that to me. And I have changed that narrative for me. I say I'm great. And then other people will be like, oh my God, what is wrong with her? She's saying I'm great. Is she really living in the UK?
Yeah, that's
But
right.
it's just how we are programmed, when we grow up, all our dreams, all our desires, they just shed, and we almost like, they're at the back of our mind, but we are so much engrossed in our current life, running in autopilot, facing things, always juggling things. We just tend to let go of them, like all the precious things we had as a child. So anyway, when I was working there, I applied for a job in London. And when I gave the interview went so well that they offered me 3 positions up for the job I interviewed. And I was the youngest senior manager in the top 3 companies in London. And I was like, oh my goodness, it happens. It does happen. This is the power of our mind. We don't even know what we're doing, right? Because we are constantly imagining things. We are constantly thinking about things. And actually, in our imaginative mind, we are creating the preview of the future. Like Einstein says, that imagination is the preview of the upcoming life. So that is my message, that whatever you want, just play with it, just play with it like that child in you, who wanted to do all those things. Like, bring that child back. It's waiting to express itself like you used to do, and really undo all those limiting beliefs and programming and all those things, and bring that child back who's a dreamer, who wants to imagine things, who wants to go to places, who wants to do crazy things. I was working and I had my first child, right? That's when I realized that I don't want to have this life where I'm working 9 to 5 and I don't get to spend time with my daughter. Actually, I was working in the city that was really 7 to 7, not 9 to 5, but commute and everything. And I thought that this is not what, like, I wanted to come to London, right? It was my dream. But once you land somewhere, you always want more, because we always want to grow more. We want to be more. We want to have more. This is the beauty, right? We want to just continue this journey. So I realized that this is not really my passion. That's when I did the passion test, which is the number one tool used worldwide to help people discover their passion. So I discovered that I actually want to help other people realize their dreams like I did as a helpless child who was going through so much. And I realized that this is what I want to teach other people. And stepping into motherhood, right? I realized that what if I can have a lifestyle where I spend a lot of time with my kids, be there for them, but still go after my dreams, go after what I want. And I started to have this discussion with other people, and they said to me, oh, you have to make a choice. You cannot have both. Either be there for your kids or go after your career. And even I remember having this conversation with my husband, and he said to me that, look, one of us has to take a back seat and look after the kids. And I said to him, what if I can do both? And he started laughing. And I remember those phrases to him that one day I'll figure out what it is like, what is the way, and then I'll share it with the world. And now I have figured out, right? I figured out the way with ease, with flow, with alignment, where you don't have to burn, 12 hours a day or 16 hours a day, where you literally just do things naturally. Because I'm a firm believer that success is a natural process. We are designed to be successful. That is how we are made. We have these mechanisms within us to go towards our goal and achieve them effortlessly. The problems comes when we pick up the limiting beliefs and wrong things along the way, and that hinders who we really are, right? So it's more about undoing and becoming more of ourselves.
Yeah, I love that. You've gone through a massive, significant journey from where you were to where you're now, which is phenomenal. And I think that really highlights your superpower. So, what do you mean? Because there's some keywords you said about scars, becoming your superpower, and then having that power of visualization. For someone who is probably stuck in a rut and probably is in limbo land where they're still thinking, umming and ahhing, oh, I don't know, but can this really happen? What would be your encouragement to them, not only to achieve their goals, but how would you help them to actually set out their vision? Do they need to create a vision board? Do they need to write it out? What works for you that you actually share to your clients?
Yeah. So actually, I'm a passion test consultant. So I do this 5-hour workshop with them where I really help them carve out what would they love in every area of their life. So not just career, but everything. And that test is quite funny because you can never fail it, right? But at the same time, a lot of times it happens to people that there are things which are so important to them and they were always in front of them, but they never saw it. They never really experienced it, right? Because they were ignoring it. Because the biggest problem is we give priority to everybody else in our lives except us. We don't care about what we want, what we love. And the data is a huge proof of that, because 85% people who are employed on jobs don't follow their passion, according to the survey done by Gallup. This survey was done recently where 85% people are just doing different jobs which they don't love, they're not engaged, they're not happy, they don't feel fulfilled. So imagine how much disengagement is in the career, and how much people are wasting their talents. We talk about natural resource, right? That we want to save water, we want to save all those things. But what about this biggest natural resource, which is our unbound talent, which is getting wasted every single day? So I do this test, but when somebody asks me like that, what is the way? What I would say is that ask yourself this question, okay? What would I love? Okay, what? So the problem is that when we ask ourselves this question, first of all, because we have never asked ourselves this question, we're like, oh my God, I can't figure that out because the reality is we haven't asked this question for decades. So it's hard to
Yeah.
get that answer. But the other problem is that always how comes in the way, right? So when we think, okay, I would love that. I would love to do this. I would love to have that business. I would love to drive that car. I would love to work for this cause, whatever it is. Always the how tells us not to want that, right? And we just stop thinking, we just stop dreaming, and we are literally getting in our own way. So my mentor used to say that keep your logical mind in your pocket. So I literally imagine myself putting my logical mind in my pocket because my logic of what is possible is based on my past experience, right? So if I want to create a different future, I cannot be defined by my past. So I need to put my
Correct.
logical mind in
Yeah.
my pocket. So I literally imagine putting that in pocket. And then
Amazing.
I would ask that, what would I love? Like if anything is
Yeah.
possible, if I've got all the time, all the money, anything I want in this world, what would I love? Right? And a lot of times, like when I really wanted to start this business and help people follow their dreams, have quantum leaps, like have breakthrough to big goals, I had this story to myself that, oh, I've got kids. I cannot do that, right? And I was reading Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And he shared 55 famous alibis, what people say why they cannot go after their goals. And one of them was, if I didn't have kids. And when I read that, I was like, oh my goodness, it's like a slap on my face. Napoleon Hill is pointing that out, that look, you have this excuse. And that's the day I decided that I'm going all in, right? I'm just going
Awesome.
all in. I have
Yes.
set this
Go all in.
intention. I've made the decision.
Yes.
This is what I want.
Come on.
And
So can you, yeah. No, I was just going to say, like, what I was going to say is like everything that you've mentioned, whether it's excuses or not, you make the intention and the choice. So, and I love it because one of the things that really was like, exactly what you're saying. You know, our past will never define us, but it's the choices and decisions we make right now that's going to determine our future tomorrow. You mentioned about this quantum leap. I'm quite excited. Can you share a bit of your framework and how to achieve quantum leaps, flows, and alignment? Because you did mention about that. Like, how do you do that?
yeah. Oh, I love this. Now you'll have to stop me talking. Okay. So for me,
Go.
a quantum leap is a goal. So there are 3 types of goal, right? A, B, C. A is a goal which we can do, which we have done before, right? So definitely we can do. And most of the people go after that goal because they know they can do it, right? For example, if you want to buy a car, you have bought that car before. You're like, oh yeah, I've done it. B is a goal which you think you can do it. You think, yeah, if I do this and this and this and try this strategy, I'll be able to do it. C is the quantum leap, which you know, you believe you can't do it, right? I would suggest go after that goal because that is the fun part. For me, you're trading your life for your goals. You're trading your time, right? The time you spend on that goal, that is the trade. So why would you trade your life for a goal which is not worth your time? So I would ask this question, is it worth my time? I wouldn't say, am I worth this goal? I would turn it around and say, is it worth me? Is it worth my life, the time I'm trading? So when I set that big goal, which excites me and scares me at the same time, okay, now a lot of people, what they try to do, which I was there for a very long time, and I've learned very hard lessons after spending a lot of money and a lot of hours and lots of things, that we try to find the way outside, right? We are like, okay, what is the strategy I need to achieve this goal? For example, let's take a specific example. You need to have a business. You are trying to have a 6 or 7 figure business, right? And you are saying that, okay, what is that strategy I want for my business? And you do one strategy, doesn't work. 2, 3, doesn't work. You try all over the place looking for that strategy. Some people are saying, do this, write these kind of emails, run webinars, or don't do this, do this. And you are constantly on trainings, on things to figure out the strategy. Okay. That is the way which leads to burnout, and a lot of people, because of funds or because of time or whatever, they give up, right? For me, the way it works is that if you want to achieve that quantum leap, no matter what that goal is, whether it's business, it's personal life, whatever that goal is, first thing you need to do is you need to level up to become that person. Because first you be that person, then you do those things, and then you have that goal. So imagine if you have a laptop, right? And you are trying to upload a program which is for a higher version of that laptop, but you're constantly trying and putting more programs and doing those things. What's going to happen? It's going to start hanging, right? It will stop working. So similarly, when we start to put too much knowledge which doesn't match who we are, we start to get confused. We start to get annoyed that I'm doing all these trainings, everything, and it's not working, because the answer is that it's all within you, and you need to help that version of you come on the surface who is already within you. The beauty is that that version is already there. You don't need to create it. You need to just let it out on the surface. So first you assess that where am I right now? Because if you don't assess, then it's not going to work, right? Because you can't improve anything until you know where it is. So you first see where am I right now? That means what kind of results have you got right now? Okay. And then you see that what is causing those results. So according to my framework and my experience, what we need to do is, we have already got that version within us. We need to just start seeing ourselves differently. Okay. That is it. That is the effortless way. That version is already there. Because if you think right now that I am someone who earns this much money, I am someone who is a night owl, who doesn't like to wake up in the morning, I am someone who doesn't get things done on time. So you have given that identity to yourself. That is not the real you. And when you start giving a different identity, means you start seeing yourself differently, that different version will come out. So it's that easy, right? Trying to change everything outside, other people's strategies, trainings. No, go within and see how do you see yourself right now. Okay. And then start seeing yourself differently. So what I did, I wrote all the things which I identify myself as, right? So I have done this exercise over and over again, because I upgrade myself every year. That is my yearly ritual. So
yeah, that's right.
In the latest one, there were 92 negative beliefs that I held about myself. And I thought I'm a very positive person, right? And imagine we think 72,000 thoughts every single day. And for me, 92 of those thoughts were limiting me, and I was giving myself a wrong identity, right? So I became aware. That is the first rule, right? Then you need to be crystal clear what is it that you want, to the finest detail, because it's like you're sitting in the car and you don't know where you're going, where you're going to end up, right? So you need to be clear what do you want, and then you have to write your new script, literally like you write for an actor. When actors sign up for a movie, they have a script, they read it and they become that person, right? So you have to write your script. So I have written that script for myself that is 8 minutes long, and I listen to it over and over and over again, every single day, right? And what happens with that is that things happen naturally, changes happen naturally, because I'm auto-suggesting it to myself. So sometimes I'll see that, oh my God, I don't do that anymore. How come? Because that is in my script. So I didn't force that thing that, disciplining, put 20 alarm clocks to wake up at that time. No, just keep telling yourself that I'm that person. And I really want to make it very relatable that, when you sit on the train, right, you start acting like somebody who's sitting on the train. Why? Because you told yourself that right now I'm sitting on the train, so I need to start acting like somebody who's sitting on the train. Then you get off the train and you go and start talking to your clients, right? You start acting like somebody who is a coach. Then you start acting. So we are constantly acting. We are actors anyway. So why don't we ask ourselves to act what we want to be and start seeing ourselves differently? So when you step into that new character, that's when you think, you feel, and you behave according to the person who has already achieved that goal. So what you're doing is you're unleashing your power. You're getting that powerful version of you outside. And then success is natural, because naturally you'll be doing those things. You'll not have to discipline. I hate this word discipline, because it really makes me feel, like it's so hard. I want to make it easy and effortless,
Yeah. So, man, these are just amazing principles, and so many nuggets have just been shared today. Like you've gone through ideation to like strategy, then implementation, but progression is what I see, and with pace. And that's what I love hearing what you just mentioned about quantum leaps. And that really is a quantum leap. going into that fear factor, but moving over that, and just having that confidence factor and being that person that you vision to be, which is amazing. I ask this question to every guest that's on the show. What is your meaning of motivation without the hype, and how to use motivation for your personal success?
Okay. So for me, motivation is actually answering your calling. Okay. So we all have this, I'm a firm believer that we all are here on this planet for a reason. And we are here to answer our call, our purpose. And a lot of times, in order to ignite that, we have to sometimes go through difficult times. Like I had to, like a lot of people. And that's when we make it through, we realize, oh my God, I want to help other people. And when we do those things, that they really, really excite us. So I will give you an example. When I study these things and I do those things, I share it with my friends, my cousins, right? And I send it to them. And I think that, oh my God, they're going to watch this and then I'll go crazy like I do. And when I ask them, how was it? They're like, oh, I watched halfway and then I stopped. And I'm thinking, why? It was so good. Like I watched it like a million times. But then I realized that it doesn't excite them because it's not their passion. So similarly, my 3-year-old son, he loves tools, right? And I find it really hard to, use tools because I've never done it. It's not my passion. But he loves it. Like it lights him up. Like he will do it all day long. He tried to unscrew everything in our house, right? So now when he makes me do it with him, I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to do this. But it's not meant to light me up. It's meant to light him up. So for me, it's about answering that calling. And once you answer that calling, that means you step into that person, okay, who has already achieved that calling, and you start to see yourself like that, and you start to become one with it. Then what happens is that goal starts to feed you. That goal drives you. You don't need to drive yourself. That goal will make you wake up early in the morning. That goal, when you'll be sleeping, you'll be thinking about that, And that's when a lot of times, like, people say that, what is happening? Like, it never stops. But when you fall into it, when you step into your passion, your purpose, it is like you found your true love, It's like deep inside that this is it. This is everything for me. And that's when it drives you all the way long, So really, the step is to answer it, to say, yes, I'm ready for it. Because the way I say it is that we are a vessel. And we are here to do the things what is meant for us, right? So either we can cause a lot of friction and say, no, I'm not going to do that. Or we can say, you know what, I would love that. And one of the things slightly dodgy is that the way it starts is that you would say, I'm not happy with with my life. I want more money, right? And a lot of people have this wrong money beliefs, and they say, oh, it's so greedy to ask more money. You should be happy with what you have got. But the reason you want more money is because that is the way it all starts. You start with, I want more money. And when you discover what you love, and then it's like it's something else then, right? Your mission completely changed, and you're like, you know what? I love this. I would love to serve people. I would love to do this. Because at the end of the day, we want to serve each other. We want to help other people.
Yes.
But it starts with dissatisfaction. So don't let the wrong money beliefs come in the way and say, oh, this is so wrong. I don't want this. No, you can have that. But once you start going in that direction, you will realize that it was never about getting. It was all about growing into your purpose.
Yes, I love that. Growing to your purpose. Wow. Thank you so much, Anum. That was amazing. It was such a privilege to have you on the show and sharing your key insights and your experience, which is, life-changing. So guys, for more information how you can get in touch with Anum, look at our show notes. All the links are provided there that you can actually follow her and connect with her in those provided show notes. So if this episode has been helpful and uplifting, we would love for you to write a review to inspire more listeners to get plugged in. We will continue to provide high-value content in each and every episode. If you don't mind sharing this podcast show on social media by inviting others, it would mean the world to me. Every time you tag me or tag us, we will get the opportunity to share those posts, and together we can make a difference in the lives of others through inspirational episodes just like this. So there you have it. In closing, continue to unleash your greatness and tell yourself that I can, I will, and I must, and we'll see you on the next episode.